There have been 12 countries in both Concacaf and Conmebol to qualify for the World Cup. So I've decided to rank each of those countries from worst to best as of this current moment. The countries featured in this video will include Canada, the United States of America, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Curaçao, Ecuador, Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, and Colombia. If you're excited for the World Cup, be sure to like the video and subscribe. We are trying to hit 9,000 subscribers. But anyway, let's start off the video with 12th place, Haiti. Hey, if you're from Haiti, congratulations, you made the World Cup. I think it's the first time Haiti's ever qualified. I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure. They topped their qualifying group in Concacaf, but honestly, they are definitely the weakest side from any country we're going to be talking about in this video. The only player I recognize on their entire team is Bellegarde, and that's only because he plays for Wolves in the Premier League. But I don't really think that means much because Wolves are bottom of the league. So yeah, if you're Haitian or from Haiti, sorry for ranking you guys 12th, but hey, congratulations on qualifying. In 11th place, I have Curaçao. This is kind of the same thing as Haiti. The only reason I have them ranked higher than Haiti is that they actually were in a qualifying group with Haiti in the first phase of qualifying, and they actually destroyed them like 5-1. They actually topped that group, 2 points above Haiti as well. The only player I recognize from their squad is a player named Chong. I think his name is Taith Chong. I recognize him though because I remember he played for Manchester United a few years ago. But anyway, yeah, I feel like Curaçao and Haiti were the obvious bottom two. But again, congrats to those countries for qualifying for the first time. In 10th place, I have Panama. Now obviously Panama are one of the strongest sides in CONCACAF. I would probably rank them 4th place behind the USA, Canada, and Mexico in CONCACAF. And even though they got knocked out of the Gold Cup by Honduras pretty early, they have played in the 2018 World Cup and beaten the United States on quite a few occasions recently. Yeah, their squad is not as strong as some other countries we'll be talking about, and recently they've only played 2 friendlies, one against Mexico, one against Bolivia. I know they're only friendlies, but I've noticed that teams have been putting out some of their strong lineups. Yeah, they lost to Mexico and tied with Bolivia, so not the best result in the world. In 9th place, I have Mexico. Out of the 3 host countries, I think Mexico is probably the least prepared for the World Cup. Yes, they did just win the CONCACAF Gold Cup against the United States of America, but they only won 2-1. And let me remind you that the United States were playing like their C team or something. They had no Pulisic, McKennie, Adams, Tillman. Instead, they were playing Berhalter's son. And most of Mexico's players play in their domestic league anyway, like Alexis Vega, Cesar Montes, who's actually a beast. He scored a few goals in the Gold Cup, and Chavez, who actually scored a banger last World Cup against Saudi Arabia. But if you're looking at Mexico, you probably think of Raul Jimenez, who plays on Fulham. He's still scoring goals in the Premier League, even though he's like 35 years old. But if we take a look at Mexico's record against other teams outside of CONCACAF, it's not looking very good for them. Mexico actually has a terrible record against South American opponents. And if we look at their recent friendlies against teams, the only 2 teams they actually beat were Panama and Bolivia, which were probably the 2 worst teams they played. Other than that, they tied with Japan, they tied with Korea, they got absolutely obliterated by Colombia, they tied with Ecuador, they tied with Uruguay, and lost to Paraguay. And I remember Mexico losing 4-2 to Switzerland in a friendly. Anyways, in 8th place, I have Canada. Obviously, these days when you hear the Canadian national team, you think of Jonathan David and Alphonso Davies, who are definitely their 2 star players. Canada did get knocked out to Guatemala, I'm pretty sure, in the Gold Cup, which is not ideal. But they haven't been doing too bad in their recent friendlies. They beat Romania 3-0, they beat Wales. They did lose 1-0 to Australia though, but they tied with Colombia, they tied with Ecuador, they beat Venezuela 2-0, and then they beat Guatemala 1-0. So some decent results in there for Canada, honestly. And honestly, if Canada and Mexico were to play USA right now, I would say Canada would have a better chance than Mexico. In 7th place, I have Paraguay. A few years ago in Copa America, they did finish bottom of the group, losing every single game, I'm pretty sure. But they did automatically qualify in 6th place, tied with Colombia, Uruguay, and Brazil on points, I'm pretty sure. They actually came out of that with some really good results. I'm pretty sure they beat Brazil and Argentina. People may not know some of these names on Paraguay, but you have Diego Gomez, who's actually been playing pretty well for Brighton. They have Almiron, who used to play for Newcastle in the Premier League. I don't know where he plays now, though. And they also have Enciso and Gustavo Gomez. So there are some decent players on Paraguay, and as a unit, they work pretty well together. Now in 6th place, I have Uruguay. I feel like Uruguay, they are a good team. They have some good players, but they are really inconsistent. They finished in 4th place in World Cup qualifying, but they aren't consistent. They have had 4 recent friendlies. They beat Dominican Republic only 1-0, and then they beat Uzbekistan 2-1. They then tied with Mexico 0-0, and then got demolished 5-1 by the USA. Again, they do have some good players like Valverde, Bentancur, Jimenez, Oliveira for Napoli, but sometimes it just doesn't feel like it gels for the national team. Anyways, 5th place is the USA. Now, I might be exaggerating a little bit. Obviously, the USA did lose to Mexico in the Gold Cup final 2-1, but again, that was with like their C team or B team, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's like their C team or something. I only remember like Berhalter and then someone named Diego Luna on that team. But for the World Cup, they will definitely have all their starters like Christian Pulisic, Weston McKennie, Tyler Adams for Bournemouth, who has been very underrated. They'll have Robinson for Fulham. They'll have Richards, who is a center back on Crystal Palace. They'll even have Cardozo and Cedric Tillman. They actually do have a lot of decent names. They just beat Uruguay 5-1 in a friendly, as I already mentioned. Before that, they beat Australia and Paraguay 2-1 in friendlies. They tied with Ecuador 1-1. They beat Japan 2-0. But before that, they did lose 2-0 to Korea. But yeah, I do think that the USA is heading in the right direction. There are 4 countries left, and in that 4th spot, I have Ecuador. Now, the last time Ecuador actually lost a football game was in September 2024, I'm pretty sure, and that was 1-0 away at Brazil. Since then, it's only been wins and draws, and a lot of draws. See, Ecuador are brilliant on the defensive side of the ball. They have brilliant players like William Pacho for PSG. They have Piero Hincapié for Arsenal, Pervis Estupiñán, even a player named Ordóñez who plays on Club Brugge, I think. And they even have Moises Caicedo, who is one of the best center defensive mids in the world. But the problem with Ecuador is the lack of goal scoring. They have had so many 0-0 draws, it's not even funny. Like, look at all of these. All of these were recently in World Cup qualifying in Conmebol. Since qualifying, they've had 4 friendlies. They had a 1-1 draw against America, 1-1 draw against Mexico, 0-0 draw against Canada, and then a 2-0 win against New Zealand. But if they do get someone to score goals in the attack, they can be a very dangerous team. In 3rd place, I have Colombia. In the most recent Copa America, they were the runners-up to Argentina. They qualified in 3rd place in Conmebol, and they have a lot of brilliant players. Obviously, they have Luis Diaz, who has been lighting it up for Bayern. They have James Rodriguez, who always lights it up for the national team. They have Richard Rios. They have a player named Suarez, who's actually scored a lot of goals recently for the national team. Recently, they've had 4 friendlies. They beat Mexico 4-0. They tied 0-0 with Canada. They beat New Zealand 2-1, and then they beat Australia 3-0. In 2nd place, I have Brazil. Now, Brazil has been really inconsistent these past few years, but I feel like it would be wrong to put them anywhere below 2nd place. They just have so much quality on that squad that I feel like it would be rude. They were 5th place in World Cup qualifying, and their recent friendlies have been kind of all over the place. They beat Korea 5-0 in a friendly, and then lost 3-2 to Japan. They beat Senegal 2-0, the champions of Africa, and then tied with Tunisia 1-1. So that means in 1st place, I do have Argentina, the most recent World Cup champions. I think they are the best qualified team in the Americas. Obviously with the GOAT Leo Messi playing his last World Cup, but they also have quality all over the place. Nico Paz is a rising young star. They have Alexis McAllister. And in World Cup qualifying, they came 1st place with 38 points, which is 9 more than Ecuador. But anyway, those are my rankings for every team that is qualified for the World Cup in the Americas. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.